Dormageddon, the party that got me on probation. I wasn't supposed to be at that party. Let me rephrase that. I wanted to be there. Desperately. I'd just never gotten the invite before. My name is Eli Travers, sophomore. Majoring in computer science, minor in anxious sweating. Up until the night of the party, the wildest thing I'd done at college was microwave a burrito with the foil still on. But that Friday night, I decided I was going to change all that. I was going to be fun, loose, reckless even. This wasn't just any party. It was the annual Floor 5 blowout at Sanderson Hall, a party so notorious that it had its own urban legends. They dropped a couch off the balcony last year, my roommate Kyle had told me. Why? Just to see what would happen. Fair enough. The invite came via sticky note. Kyle found it slapped on our door with a cartoon drawing of a beer can flexing muscles. The note read, Floor 5, bring your worst self. 9 p.m. until we get shut down. Chad. Chad was the RA on Floor 5. Normally, RAs are there to prevent chaos. Chad was different. He fueled it. He had a backwards hat permanently grafted to his skull and referred to beer as hydration. It was 8:54 p.m. and Kyle was already pre-gaming with a flask full of questionable liquid that smelled like paint thinner. Meanwhile, I was Googling how to dance like a cool guy without looking weird. Eli, Kyle said, are you going like that? I looked down, cargo shorts, my high school robotics club t-shirt, sandals. What's wrong with this? I asked. You look like a divorced dad on his way to a Costco brawl. 5 minutes later, I emerged in skinny jeans and a hoodie that said, I paused my game to be here. Somehow worse. But Kyle gave me a thumbs up and handed me a red Solo cup. Hydration! Grinning, we ascended to the 5th floor, the muffled thump of bass growing louder with each step. The moment the elevator doors opened, it hit us. Heat, sweat, and the unmistakable smell of cheap beer mixed with Axe body spray. We had arrived. At first, I was awkwardly hugging the wall like a socially anxious barnacle. Kyle vanished into the crowd, already dancing with 2 people who may or may not have been enrolled in the college. There were so many people. The room pulsed like a living organism. Strobe lights flickered. Someone had duct-taped glow sticks to a Roomba and set it loose like a rave snail. And then I saw her. Her name was Tasha, senior, political science major, tattoo of a koi fish on her shoulder. Once I tried to compliment it and said, nice fish. I like aquatic vertebrates. She walked away. But tonight I felt different, charged, like maybe aquatic vertebrates were my thing. I grabbed another Solo cup, then another, and somewhere between the 4th sip and the 3rd regret, I made my way to the center of the living room dance floor. That's when things started getting fuzzy. There are gaps in my memory. I only remember snapshots, like a camera that went off during a tornado. Me leading a conga line that ended in someone's closet. Someone yelled, he's crowd surfing, followed by me landing on a coffee table. A group chant of Eli, 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 as I did the worm across a pile of laundry. At some point, I climbed on top of a mini fridge and gave a speech about the importance of net neutrality, which got me a standing ovation for reasons I still don't understand. Then the lights went out, and that's when all hell broke loose. Strobe lights flickered back on. Someone had triggered the fire alarm. Not because of fire, but because Chad thought it would make things edgy. We're vibin', Chad screamed into a karaoke mic. That's when the door burst open. Not a knock, not a polite RA check-in. A burst. 2 campus police officers stormed in, followed by a very stressed-looking dean of students. Behind them, a real cop. Like badge and nightstick kind of real. Everyone stay where you are, one of them shouted over the bass. The room froze, except for the Roomba, which kept bumping into people like it didn't get the memo. I panicked, not a little. Full I think I'm in a dream, let's try to fly away panic. I sprinted down the hall, turned into a supply closet, and locked myself in with a mop. It was just me and Mopra Winfrey, my new best friend. I could hear the chaos outside. People are screaming, cops yelling, someone sobbing into a beanbag chair. After what felt like an hour, but was probably 5 minutes, I peeked out and immediately ran face first into the dean. "Oh, hi," I said, trying to pretend I was just cleaning. He raised an eyebrow. "Son, are you wearing someone else's shoes?" I looked down. Pink Crocs. One had a Pikachu charm on it. I might be. I wish I could say I handled my confrontation with the dean with dignity and grace. I did not. "I was just, checking for mop integrity," I said, still cradling Mopra like a teddy bear. "Son, what's your name?" I panicked. I couldn't tell the truth. The truth involved glow sticks, crowd surfing, and possibly destroying a lava lamp with my body. I scanned the room. Kyle, my name is Kyle." Crucial context, Kyle is 6'3" with a beard. I am not. The dean looked at me with the same expression you might give to a pigeon trying to operate a vending machine. "Come with me, Kyle," he said flatly. I was escorted to the hallway where several other students were being questioned by the campus police. The party was effectively over. Red and blue lights blinked outside the window, and someone was sobbing in a bathtub while holding a watermelon. A very official-looking officer pulled out a notepad. "Name?" I opened my mouth to lie again, but was cut off by a loud voice. "Eli Travers!" Chad bellowed, strutting into the hallway with the confidence of a man who just invented beer. "You legend!" My soul left my body. "Eli started the conga line," Chad added helpfully, "and the TED Talk on net neutrality, which honestly, powerful stuff." The officer turned to me slowly, pen tapping the pad. "Eli, huh?" "Allegedly," I said. They separated us. I was led into a room I didn't know existed, some kind of mini conference room with folding chairs and a poster on the wall that read, "Choices make good ones." A small, tired-looking woman entered. She introduced herself as Officer Debbie. She had the energy of someone who had definitely broken up too many college parties this semester. "All right, Eli, what happened tonight?" "Officer Debbie," I said, putting my hands on the table like I was testifying before Congress. "I was trying to make friends, that's all." She stared. "And maybe some questionable choices." Still staring. "And possibly, I danced on a table, lost my shoes, and told a group of strangers that I invented Bluetooth," she sighed. "Look, this is going to go on record, but if you're honest and show remorse, it'll likely just be a probation warning." "Oh, good," I said, "because I've shown so much remorse." Pause. "Was that sarcasm?" she asked. "Only 30%, I said honestly. She left me alone in the room for 15 minutes. I stared at the poster. Choices make good ones. Too late. By 3 a.m., I was back in my dorm room. Kyle had survived the party unscathed and was asleep, snoring softly under a flag that said no regrets. I had many regrets. I had grass stains on my jeans, a red Solo cup in my hoodie pocket. How? And I still hadn't located my actual shoes. At 8 a.m., I was summoned to a disciplinary hearing. That's right, a Saturday morning hearing. These people were monsters. The hearing consisted of me, the dean, still disappointed, a clipboard, and a box of tissues just in case. It was held in the rec room because the actual meeting space was still being de-glittered. "I see here," the dean said, squinting at the clipboard, "you attempted to climb out of a third-story window because someone said there was a rave on the roof." "I did not attempt," I corrected. "I merely considered." He sighed. "And what's this about a water balloon launcher?" "That was theoretical physics in motion." Another sighed. "Eli, you seem intelligent? Not particularly coordinated, but intelligent. What possessed you to act like this?" I thought for a moment. I think I just wanted to not feel like the quiet kid for once. He paused. "Well," he said finally, "you're on probation. No parties, no alcohol, no Roombas with lasers for 3 months." "Understood. Oh, and Chad's getting fired. Just FYI." The news hit campus like a caffeinated squirrel. Chad is getting fired. By noon, someone had made a petition. By 2 p.m., there were free Chad posters everywhere. One guy shaved it into his chest hair. You'd think people wouldn't care about a backwards hat RA with a diet of Monster Energy and Hot Pockets. But Chad? Chad was ours. He may have been reckless, loud, and borderline allergic to responsibility, but he made campus feel alive. At 4 p.m., Chad himself stood on a picnic table in the quad and gave a speech. "They want to take me down," he yelled into a megaphone he probably wasn't supposed to have. "But they can't stop the vibe." People cheered. It was like a revolution. A very dumb, beer-fueled revolution. Then Chad pointed at me. "And this guy, Eli, is a legend. He danced like no one was watching. He started the worm chain that shattered the lava lamp. He is the spirit of Sanderson Hall." I stood there half proud, half horrified. And then he handed me the megaphone. I've never spoken to a large crowd before. And by large, I mean a bunch of over-caffeinated college students holding signs that said things like "Party, life," and "Save our Chad." I held the megaphone awkwardly. Someone chanted "Speech, speech," while chugging an entire can of whipped cream. I began. "Hi, I'm Eli. You might remember me as the guy who broke the ping pong table doing the worm." Laughter. "I didn't come here to party. I came here because I was tired of feeling invisible. And it turns out being ridiculous with a bunch of strangers is kind of fun." Cheers. "And yeah, we broke some rules. We made mistakes. Chad should probably never supervise humans again. But you know what? This is college. We're supposed to be weird, make stories, make chaos. Then apologize for it later." More cheering. "Let's not pretend we're perfect, but let's be real. Chad made this place feel like home. And if the price for that is a lava lamp and a mop closet smelling like regret, so be it." The crowd erupted. Officer Debbie, watching from the sidewalk with a coffee, just shook her head and muttered, "Idiots, but passionate idiots." The college didn't reinstate Chad, but they did let him host one last event, a school-sanctioned farewell gathering in the quad. Of course, it was called Chadchella, the final vibe. There were food trucks, acoustic guitar covers of Linkin Park songs, a safe zone where people could throw water balloons at a cardboard cutout of the dean. Even the dean showed up. He got hit in the face with a balloon and just sighed. I danced, this time on solid ground. Tasha was there too. "You're kind of famous now," she said. "Infamous," I corrected. "Big difference." She smiled. "Still, you've got guts and surprisingly flexible hips. I trained by panicking." She laughed and handed me a juice box. We danced until sunset. Kyle sang karaoke badly. Someone set off confetti cannons. Chad crowd surfed one last time, and for a moment, just a moment, it felt like a perfect ending.